Thank you for coming to Starbright Storytime. This is the book overview for week 18, the review of the books which were read during week 18. This is a short list. I'm trying to catch up. I've been altering the posting dates, so I'd like to put these overviews out on Sunday in case a parent or guardian would like a chance to look at the books from the previous week. To begin, we have Scaredy Cat, Story and Pictures by Cyndy, Szekeres. This is a small tale of three little kittens just enjoying their day playing, but Scaredy Cat is frightened by everything, it seems, and the two other kittens are not as terrified as Scaredy Cat. In the end, Scaredy Cat overcomes her fears. It's sweet illustrations. Pretty simple storyline here. Reading level 1, sort of preliminary reading. Scaredy Cat, Story and Pictures by Cyndy, Szekeres. Next on the list is Pete the Cat, Pete at the Beach. This is an I Can Read book, again made for early readers. This was written and illustrated by James Dean. Pete the Cat, Pete at the Beach. Another story featuring this cat character, Pete, and this time he's on an adventure to the beach with his mother and brother. He shows signs of having an aversion to water, but in the end he realizes how much fun playing in the water can be, how much fun surfing can be. Another story about overcoming fears. In the end, the last line of the book, it is okay to be afraid, but it is more fun to surf. So this book is indicated on the back, ideal for sharing with emergent readers. I Can Read's book, my first reading. Pete the Cat, Pete at the Beach by James Dean. We continue on with this feline theme. We have Five Little Kittens by Nancy Jewell with pictures by Elizabeth Sayles. An interesting style of illustration here with this book. I believe this is pastel is what it's called. Illustrations were executed in pastel. They're lovely. Five Little Kittens. This is the story of these siblings, and they have a toy mouse. Just the process of their day, their daily routine, how Mama Cat and Papa Cat take care of them, and their daily routine. Sweet little story for emergent readers. And then they get ready for bed. So this is a nice little bedtime story. And it's good exercise for your little one who may be learning to read. Five Little Kittens by Nancy Jewell. Pictures by Elizabeth Sayles. Next on the list we have What Makes Day and Night. This book was by Franklyn M. Branley, illustrated by Arthur Dorros, and we're getting into a little bit of science here. What Makes Day and Night? This is an educational book. I think I said reading level 2 or 3, mostly due to understanding the concepts, but it is meant to explain how we see the moon from Earth, how we experience day and night, how day and night are created with our planet and the sun, and how we see the moon. Educational book, but meant to be read by young children. What Makes Day and Night by Franklyn M. Branley, illustrated by Arthur Dorros. Next on the list, Off to the Moon. This is one of the fabulous 5-minute stories by Reader's Digest Young Families. Off to the Moon is written by Stephanie Marbury and illustrated by Tom Leigh. This is a fantastical story that a father tells to his young son about the relationship he had with his pet gerbil when he was a boy, and how they ended up at a space center on a field trip and had an opportunity to fly to the moon. And the gerbil was so smart, after having read the Guide for Astronauts, the gerbil was able to control and manage the flight of the rocket to the moon, where they bounced around, and back to Earth. I think Billy's dad is telling the story mostly to encourage Billy to be excited about his pet gerbil, particularly because Billy had wanted a dog. At any rate, this book here, Off to the Moon, is by Stephanie Marbury, illustrated by Tom Leigh, and it is one of Reader's Digest Young Families' fabulous 5-minute stories. It's certainly entertaining, and it's a good little bedtime story. And last on the list is Red is Best, story by Kathy Stinson, art by Robin Baird Lewis. These are, I want to say, endearing illustrations for this storybook. The illustrations remind me quite a bit of the depictions of Eloise. If you've ever read that book, Eloise. This is a story about a little girl who has a predilection for the color red. She feels more confident with her red accessories. Her red boots take bigger steps, for example. That's how she feels when she wears them. She prefers her red mittens over the brown ones, even though the red middies have holes. Her red mitts make better snowballs. So this child has a reason for preferring red, and there's really no explanation to it. However, a lot of children do have a sense of what they like best, and they don't always know how to articulate their preferences or the reason for their preferences. So there's no real reason behind red being best, except that is the perspective of the protagonist in this book. Red is best. She likes her red accessories best because they make her feel good. They make her feel a sense of confidence. Red is Best, story by Kathy Stinson, art by Robin Baird Lewis. We had Off to the Moon by Stephanie Marbury, illustrated by Tom Leigh. We had What Makes Day and Night by Franklyn M. Branley, illustrated by Arthur Dorros. Five Little Kittens by Nancy Jewell, pictures by Elizabeth Sayles. Let's see. Pete the Cat, Pete at the Beach by James Dean. And Scaredy Cat. Story and pictures by Cyndy Szekeres. These are the books. Yes, there are only 6 this week because I added an extra for last week. These are the books for week 18. Thank you very much for coming to Starbright Storytime. I hope you and your children enjoyed the books.